Course description and units. Statistics means numerical or quantitative data or information. In many practical situations in life, we come across numerical data, which need to be understood, analyzed, compared and interpreted correctly. Statistics in the plural senses means collection of data, presentation of data, analysis and interpretation of data. Central tendency and dispersion are the most common and widely used statistical tool, which handles large quantity of data, and reduces the data to a single value used for doing comparative studies, and draw conclusion with accuracy and clarity. Unit 1 Objectives. Unit 2 Overview of statistics. Unit 3 Measures of central tendency. Unit 4 Median, quartiles, mode. Unit 5 Measures of dispersion. Unit 6 Skewness and kurtosis. Unit 7 Summary. Unit 8 Test your skills. Objectives. On completion of this course, you will be able to develop an understanding to use the proper methods to collect the data, employ the correct analyses, and effectively present the results. To familiarize with data management techniques by using classification, tabulation and presentation. To be able to measure and illustrate appropriate numerical descriptive statistics for different types of data, develop the skill for the handling large quantity of data, and reducing the data to a single value in terms of mean, median and mode. To calculate the measures of dispersion, skewness, and kurtosis and be able to compare descriptive statistics of different data. Course duration, 2 Introduction. The word statistics has been derived from the Latin word status, Italian word statistica, German word Statistik, each of which mean a political state. It was first used by Professor Aikenwell in 1749, to refer to the subject matter as a whole. By statistics we mean numerical or quantitative data or information. In practical situation many times we need to collect the numerical data of different variables, like income, expenditure, stock prices, GDP, population, marks, temperature, height, weight, blood pressure, etc. and analyze it to know the pattern and for forecasting and predicting the future data. Statistics in the plural senses means the collection of the following 4 scientific steps. Collection of data. Under this stage the relevant numerical data are collected from various published or unpublished sources, primary or secondary. Presentation of data. To understand the collected raw data, first it should be presented in suitable form. The raw data is divided into different groups or classes and represented in a form of a table. Analysis. The next step after presentation is that of analysis. There are various methods and formulas, which are used for analyzing the data according to purpose of the study or investigation. Interpretation of data. The valid conclusions on the basis of data analyzed is drawn. Importance or uses of statistics. It is impossible to think any sphere of human activities where statistics does not creep in. It is applied in analyzing numerical data in all branches of science and commerce. Business must be planned properly and planning, to be fruitful must be based on the right analysis of complex statistical data. In economics, statistics is used in GDP, stock market, demand, supply etc. calculations. It is used in medicine to compare effect of medicines or drugs on patients. Statistical methods, like regression techniques and time series analysis is used in weather forecasting. In banking industry, credit policies are decided based on statistical analysis of profitability, demand deposits, time deposits, credit ratio, number of customers and many other ratios. It is used in sports, psychology, sociology etc. fields also. Limitation or demerits of statistics. 1. Statistics does not deal with individuals. Individual values of the observations have no specific importance. Statistics is the study of group or mass data, and deals with aggregates of facts. 2. Statistics does not study qualitative data. Statistics is the study of only of those facts, which are capable of being stated in number or quantity. 3. Statistic gives result only on an average. Statistics methods are not exact. The results obtained are true only on an average in the long run. 4. The results can be biased. The data collection may sometimes be biased, which will make the whole investigation useless. Limitation or demerits of statistics. Function of statistics. Statistics presents the facts in definite form. Statistics simplifies complex data. It provides a technique of comparison. Statistics studies the relationship. It helps in formulating policies. It helps in forecasting. Definitions. Population. Sample. Population. It is the collection of all observations, from which we collect data for our study or research. Example. If we are doing research on the smoking habits of college students, the population is the set of all college students in the world. If we are studying the average marks of students at Mumbai University, the population is the set of marks of all students at Mumbai University. Data can be classified based on the characteristics they have. It is of two types. Variates. Attributes. A characteristic, which varies from one individual to another, and can be expressed in numerical terms, is called variate. Example, marks, heights and weights of students in a class. A characteristic, which varies from one individual to another, but can't be expressed in numerical terms, is called attribute. Example, color of ball, gender of people, etc. Quantitative variables can be further classified as discrete and continuous. A numerical variable, which takes distinct values, is called discrete variable. It takes finite number of values. Example, number of students failed in an exam in different subjects, number of children in a family. A numerical, which takes infinite number of values within a range, is called continuous variable. Example, percentage of marks of students in a class. A parameter is a numerical value that states something about the entire population being studied. A parameter is usually unknown value which is fixed. Example, population mean, population standard deviation, etc. Since parameter is unknown, it has to be estimated. Statistic is used to estimate parameter. A statistic is a quantity that is calculated from a sample of data. It is used to give information about unknown values in the corresponding population. Example, sample mean is used to estimate the parameter population mean. Statistic is also called estimator. Collection of data. Researchers or investigators need to collect data from respondents. There are two types of data. Primary data. Primary data are data which is collected directly by investigator for first time using the methods as direct interview method. Here the data is collected directly from the respondents by asking questions. A face-to-face contact is made with the informants or respondents. Questionnaires. Questionnaires contain a list of simple and short questions related to the survey. It can contain short closed-ended questions or broad open-ended questions. Questionnaires are generally used to collect data from a large group on a specific topic. Census and sample survey. In a census, data is collected from all in the population. In a survey, data are only collected for a sub-part of the population. This part is called a sample. These data are then used to estimate the characteristics of the whole population. In this case, it has to be ensured that the sample is representative of the population in question. Secondary data. According to M. Blair, secondary data are those already in existence, and which have been collected for some other purpose. Secondary data is the second-hand information. The data, which have already been collected and compiled by some agency or persons, and then collected from it for some research or study purpose, are termed as secondary data. Secondary data may be collected from different existing records, published sources or unpublished sources, like different research and educational institutions, bank and financial organizations, internet, newspapers and magazines, organizations, like LIC, UNESCO, WHO, IMF, etc. The distinction between primary and secondary data is a matter of degree only. The data, which are primary in the hands of one, become secondary for all others. For example, the population census report is primary for the Registrar General of India and the information from the report are secondary for all of us. Both the primary and secondary data have their respective merits and demerits. Primary data are original, as they are collected from the source. So, they are more accurate than the secondary data. But primary data involves more money, time and energy than the secondary data. In an inquiry, a proper choice between the two forms of information should be made. Classification. Generally, the size of collected raw data is large. Thus, the raw data do not give any clear picture regarding the purpose of collecting the data. Interpreting and drawing any conclusion from raw data becomes very difficult. To understand and interpret the collected data, first the data is arranged into some homogeneous groups or classes according to some common characteristic. This is called classification of data. Classified data is presented in a more organized way so it is easier to interpret and compare them, which is known as tabulation. In other words, tabulation is the process of reducing the classified data in columns and rows and presenting it in a compact form, by putting it into a statistical table. Example, if an investigator wants to determine the poverty level of a state, he or she can do so by collecting the information of people of that state and then classifying them on the basis of their income, education, etc. and represent it in a form of a table. There are four important bases of classifications. Qualitative base, here the data is classified according to some quality or attribute such as sex, religion, literacy, intelligence, etc. Quantitative base, here the data is classified according to some quantitative characteristic like height, weight, age, income, marks, etc. Geographical base, here the data is classified by geographical regions or location, like states, cities, countries, etc. like population in different states of India. Chronological or temporal base, here the data is classified or arranged by their time of occurrence, such as years, months, weeks, days, etc. This is also called time series data. Example, sales of a company for different years. Frequency distribution. The number of occurrences of distinct values or range of values of a variable distributed within a given period of time or interval is called frequency. The values of a variable with the corresponding frequencies in form of a table are called frequency distribution. Frequency distribution is a table which used to represent the data. The left column includes numerical values or intervals of a variable under study. The right column includes corresponding frequencies. Frequency distribution is of two types. If the variable under study is discrete, the corresponding frequency distribution is called discrete frequency distribution. If the variable under study is continuous, the corresponding frequency distribution is called continuous frequency distribution. Example, discrete frequency distribution. Discrete frequency distribution. Example, continuous frequency distribution. Example, continuous frequency. Class limits or class intervals. A class is an interval of a variable, which is formed within the two values, which are called class limits or class intervals. The lower value is called lower class limit or lower class interval, and upper value is called upper class limit or class interval. Types of class intervals. There are two types of class intervals. Exclusive type. Inclusive type. Class intervals like 0 to 100, 100 to 200 are called exclusive type of class intervals. In this type, while counting the frequencies using tally marks, frequency for upper limits of the classes are excluded from the respective classes and put in the next class. For example, if raw data has a value 100, that frequency is counted in the class 100 to 200. Class intervals like 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 15 to 19 etc. are inclusive type. In this type, While counting the frequencies using tally marks, frequencies for both upper and lower limits are included in the same class intervals. Inclusive type of class intervals. Class intervals. Exclusive type of class intervals. Exclusive type of class intervals. Class boundaries. Inclusive type of class